Hello, hello, most beautiful stars. Hello, hello. I am Courtney, host of Stars of the Morning Light, and this is another Edgar Cayce Life Skills Studies. We are in Earth Changes. Yes, a whole lot of the time period we're living now. As people funnel through, because I am live, and so I will probably try to say hello to as many people in the chat as I can. So as people are coming in, let's pick a card for this message out of our sacred geometry deck. And I want to say happy Memorial Day weekend to everyone out there in the United States. We do celebrate this weekend. Most of us here in the States. So if you're listening from other countries, welcome. We adore you. Thank you for being here. Most of us in the States, we have family members, past, present, that have served. And so we adore them. We thank them. And in a lot of ways, it is why we are the way we are. So everybody, I have not met a person that their family didn't have a family member from grandpa, uncle, dad, whomever, sister, brother who did not serve. So it is a big holiday for us. Sorry if that was loud in your head right there when I was shuffling the deck. I see that Seeker of Truth came in. Good to see you, my dear. If you are catching this later, when it's already been up and done live, please scroll through, give it about 7 minutes or so, not even, and we'll be in the meat of the matter. So let's pick a card. And I see Lori came in. Good to see you, my dear. I usually try to do something at the beginning of every live, just so people can get in. All right, let's pick a card from our sacred geometry deck for this message on Edgar Cayce. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is it. This is whatever this is. What's it going to be? Oh, emergence. Oh, I know why that came out. Wow. I'm going to hold this card up. Emergence. So you can look at that sacred geometry. Emergence. Emergence. All right, let's read it. Let's read what the frequency of emergence is. The frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. Aren't we always emerging? My teacher, I am Kira. She will say we are always emerging. And right now, beloveds, 2026, oh, it has begun. The emergence has begun. So I'm very happy that card came out. And in respect to what we're going to read tonight, yeah, big time, folks. Emergence. Big time. So I actually read this to myself about 3 weeks ago. I am very late getting this message to you. Very, very late. I'm noticing as well, if it is rainy where you are at, as it is here, I apparently have a lot of yellow in this room that is making everything seem yellow in this light. Not a bad thing. It's like the sun, the sun. Everyone here at Stars of the Morning Light knows that I love the sun and I love talking about the sun. I love traveling through the sun. So we are on page 73. We're going to actually read two different sections. So we're going to read between 73 to about the beginning of 77. It's going to be two separate sections. They go together. A lot of ground to cover here, folks. A lot of ground to cover. I actually, when I went back through my notes before I popped on here, I initially had a lot more written down to cover, and I am still trying to become aware of the fact that I tend to cover too much. Let's put it that way. So, oh, and Shelley pulled from her sacred geometry deck, number 44, Universal. Oh, Universal Love. Oh, perfect. Perfect. All right, beloveds, as we all gather in, and it's good to be with you on a Friday night. If you are new here, there is a playlist of all the Edgar Cayce material that we have done. This is episode 79. In that playlist, you will find episodes about his biography. We're still going through it. And we've gone through 2 other source materials. This is referred to as a source material. So check out the playlist. And as these read, please note that the Akashic refers to us humans as entities, and this is in question and answer form. So I will guide you through it. I will probably read the section that we're going to cover first entirely, and then we'll go back through it. So we are on page 73, and this is from a reading from September 22nd, 1939. And this reading was given to a 41-year-old female who inquired about a philosopher, a German philosopher who talked about Atlantis. So I'm going to skip a bit of more personal stuff and get right to the information we need. So this is reading 1602-3, September 22nd, 1939. Is Atlantis rising now? So this is the question. Is Atlantis rising now? Will it cause a sudden convulsion, and about what year? So prior to this, mixed in with some other questions, was this idea that different philosophers would say Atlantis is going to rise again in the Aquarian age, which isn't everybody talking about how we're entering into the age of Aquarius? So that's what we're talking about here, folks. So that was the question. Is Atlantis rising now? Will it cause a sudden convulsion, and about what year? Answer. So this is the answer from the Akashic. In 1998, we will find a great deal of the activities as we have been wrought by the gradual changes that are coming about. These are at the periods when the cycle of the solar activity, or the years as related to the sun's passage through the various spheres of activity, become paramount to change between the Piscean and the Aquarian age. This is gradual, not a cataclysmic activity in the experience of the earth in this period. So they're saying around 1998. Some of us were here for it. Some of you were here for it. You were very young. Some of you might have not been here for it. But since 1998, it's saying this is all about, notice what the sun is doing, the passage of the sun. And isn't that more of the time period when we started hearing about global warming, global warming, global warming? That, and I don't laugh at it. It's just it's something different for me. Um, that's what it's talking about. But so this is a gradual change. It's talking about the shift of the poles, and we've covered this a lot on the Edgar Cayce material, the shift of the poles. I even did a whole series about the shift of the poles. But I want to point out that it's saying this is going to be gradual. From the Piscean into the Aquarian, it's like an overlap. It's a gradual. The shift of the poles is a gradual. What the sun is doing, gradual. Question: what will the Aquarian age mean to mankind as regards to the physical, mental, and spiritual development? Is the Aquarian age described as the age of the lily, and why? So those are the questions. I'll read it again. What will the Aquarian age mean to mankind as regards physical, mental, and spiritual development? Is the Aquarian age described as the age of the lily, and why? Now, this is the answer. Think ye, this might be the answer in a word. These are as growths. Growths. We're growing. What meant what meant that awareness is just indicated. In the Piscean age, in the center of the same, we had the entrance of the Emmanuel, or God among men. See? What did that mean? The same will be meant by the full consciousness of the ability to communicate with or to be aware of the relationships to the creative forces and the uses of the same in material inversions. This awareness during the era or age in the age of Atlantis and Lemuria or Mu brought what? So, kind of hard to read out loud to y'all the way that they talk. And especially, please understand, all of this was, well, this was written down as a reading in 1939. So, what they're saying is, okay, you're asking about the Aquarian age. We're talking about it's going to be consciousness, awareness from the Piscean age. But hey, in the Piscean age, the Son of Man also came. So much was going on. So, how's it not going to be the same? They're going to answer though. Please pay attention. This awareness during the age in the age of Atlantis and Lemuria and Mu brought what? So they're asking a question and then they're going to answer it. They do that often, beloveds. They do that often. Destruction to man and his beginning of the needs of the journey up through that of selfishness. Then, as to what will these be, only those who accept same will even become aware of what's going on about them. How few realize the vibrational forces as create influences from even one individual to another when they are even in the same vibrational force or influence. And yet ye ask, what will the Aquarian age bring in mind, in body, and experience? They're saying the Aquarian age is you're asking about Atlantis here, folks. That's what they're saying. You're asking about Atlantis, and you're really thinking, is the Aquarian age going to be like Atlantis? Which isn't that what we're hearing right now? That is what we hear out there. Let's have a return to Atlantis. And they just stated, with all of that, with all of that kind of vibration, with all of those influences, it brought destruction to man. And his beginning of the needs of the journey up through that of selfishness. And beloveds, I'm really going to be stressing this, and I know I said I would read it all through, but I'm reading each question. Destruction to man and his beginning of the needs of the journey up through that of selfishness. Then, As to what will these be, only those who accept same will even become aware of what's going on about them. What does that mean? Accept same. That means those who are in acceptance of it is can see can see we're doing the same. Doesn't matter if it's Piscean, doesn't matter if it's the time of Atlantis or Lemuria or Mu, and we have to accept that it's been the same and it is the same in order to be able to even see, to acknowledge what's going on about them. How few realize the how few realize the vibrational forces as create has created influences from even one individual to another when they are even in the same vibrational force or influence. And yet you ask, what will the Aquarian age bring in mind, body, and experience? So they're saying, why are you even asking? Why are you even bothering to ask? Are you still in the journey of selfishness? Can you accept it is to even be able to see what is truly all the same? Question. Is the Aquarian age described as the age of the lily, and why? Answer. The purity. Only the purity as it represents will be able to comprehend or understand that awareness that is before those who seek the way. Beloveds, I'm going to hold up the card of emergence again, of the frequency of emergence. Let's read what the frequency of emergence is again. The frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. Age of the lily, age of Aquarius. Answer, the purity. Only the purity as it represents will be able to comprehend or understand that awareness that is before those who seek the way. Question. Can a date be given to indicate the beginning of the Aquarian age? Answer. This has already been indicated as the period when it should pass, but that is when it begins to affect. So 1998. That's when it starts, this slow turnover. It laps over from one to another, as it is the natural sources, as he holds to that which has been, which is. As as has been indicated, we will begin to understand fully in 98. I want to read that again, this part here. It laps over from one to another, as is the natural sources, the natural flip of the pole, the natural development of human consciousness. All of this is natural. We begin to understand, as he holds to that which has been, which is. So weeks and weeks and weeks ago, even before I read this to prepare, I put a poll out here. A few people answered as to when you hear the words, what has always been in your mind. So just right now, just ask yourself right now, when you hear the words, what has always been? How far back does your mind go? Does it go back 50 years, 100 years, 2000 years, right? 2000 years. Does it go all the way back to the point of creation? Because what they're trying to say here is from the beginning to now, to the age of Aquarius, it's all the same. It's all the same. And we're about to get into why do we not perceive it that way? It's all the same. There's no separation between then and now, and even in the future. No separation as to it's all the same, but it's our perception. So that's a good question to ask yourself. When you hear someone say, as they just did, the Akashic, as he holds to that which has been, which is, and above, when they said, only those who accept same will will even become aware of what's going on about them. So we're going to move to another reading. This is a follow-up reading given uh this is follow-up reading regarding various changes that could be anticipated politically, economically, and geographically. This reading is 1602-5, November 28th, 1939. Close to 100 years ago, and we all know what 1939 looked like. So they're giving the Akashic kind of a reference of who they have before you, the questions that are gonna be asked, that sort of thing. Will you have before you the entity as her mental and material affairs? It has been indicated through various sources that the period immediately ahead is one of change in many fields, politically, economically, and geographically. Will you clarify these predictions for me and give directions for me at this time, answering questions which have been prepared? So now, I will say, beloveds, a lot of this is going to be right before them. So this is recorded in 1939. The answers are still still here to this day. The same. The same. So that's why I wanted to read this. For them, they're reading it for what's about to happen in the 40s, right? And 39. They're reading it with that kind of lens, with that kind of context, with that kind of perspective. But when we get into it, it's the same. So the Akashic says, yes, we have the entity here, meaning we're ready to answer these questions for this person. And then and then they continue. They say, yes, we have the entity here. As in relationship to changes, these are indicated not only through prophecies, but through astrological aspects, as well as the thought and the intent of persons and groups in high places, bringing about these changes, these conditions, and what might be said to be the fullness of time. However, since the advent of the Son of Man in the earth, giving man an advocate with the Father, there has been an influence that many counteract much of that which has been indicated that would come as retribution, or in failing or in fulfilling the law of the evolution of ideas and the relationships of material things to the thoughts and the intents of the individuals and groups. So basically, since the Son of Man, we've had a chance. That's what they're saying in a lot of words. We've had a chance to not follow the influences. Then, as to whether the hearts and minds of individuals or souls who were given authority concerning the laws of the universe are fired with the thoughts of desire consequences, or those things that bespeak, wow, of the greater development of the spiritual awakening, is still in the keeping and in the activities of individuals who, as this entity, so the person they're talking to, have caught a glimpse or an awareness of that which is in the making in the affairs of the state, nation, nations, and the universe as related to the conditions upon the face of the Mother Earth. So they're saying, hey, some of you out there, like this entity that we're doing a reading for right now, some of the people out there, they see the writing on the wall. They're aware because, let's go back to this, who are given authority concerning the laws of the universe, which is all of us, of the greater development of the spiritual awakening, is still in the keeping and in the activities of individuals who have caught a glimpse or awareness of that which is the making in the affairs of the state, nation, and nations and the universe, as related to the conditions upon the face of Mother Earth. So even in 1939, they're saying, hey, there are people out there aware, though. Hmm. Hmm. There enters much, then, that might become questions as respecting ugh, sorry guys, give me a pause. There enters much, then, that might become questions as respecting that which has been foretold or prophesied, as well as respecting the activities of groups and individuals who have acted and who are to act as a counterbalance to these happenings in the earth. In the first premise, know what was the cause of indifference or sin entering material manifestations. Was it the purpose by God that such should be, or by the Godhead? They're asking questions again, as in the Akashic is coming at them. Or was it that this force or power-seeking expression found with the expression that there came the forces of positive and negative? They just asked some really bold questions to the humans that are receiving this. Was it the Godhead, this God, who created this concept of positive and negative? And didn't just create it, but materialized it, manifested it? Or And they say, or was it that this force or power seeking expression found with the expression that there came the forces of positive and negative? And with same the awareness of one influence or force taking certain causes or directions became negative. The others became a greater positive. Thus, in the experience of souls through their evolution in the material things of earth, there has been brought there has been brought just the same effect in the material affairs of the souls active in the expressing or manifesting at this particular period or sphere of development. Positive or negative? I'm going to remind everybody, destruction of man and his beginning of the needs of the journey up through that of selfishness. Only those who accept same will even become aware of what's going on about them. Thus, in the experience of souls through their evolution in the material things of the earth, there has been brought to just that same effect in the material affairs of the soul, souls active in expressing or manifesting at the particular period or sphere of development. Hmm. M- Much of just this comprehending is indicated in some of those records that are now becoming more and more a part of man's experience or awareness, and that the cosmic or universal or spiritual laws are bringing same into that category or phrase of experience or phase of experience where they become a part of individual experiences. This may be indicated from the records in the rocks. This may be indicated in the pyramids. Man's attempts to leave a sign to those who, in the spiritual comprehension of material associations in spirit, would interpret that which had been, that which is, and that which has to be. I want to, I'll come back to that, folks. Please really take in how many times have they said the word same? Same. This may be indicated from the records in the rocks. This may be indicated in the pyramids. Man's attempts to leave a sign to those who, in the spiritual comprehension of material associations in spirit, take that phrase in, folks. Material associations in spirit would interpret that which had been, that which is, and that which was to be. Hmm. Hence, it is seen that there are interpretations that become a matter of the consciousness of the individual, so making same. So making same. Or to return to the first premise, it depends upon which the line is taken by such an individual making such interpretations, whether the pessimistic or the optimistic, or the positive or the negative, or one that sees the world as related to the earth and its position in the universe, being damned irrespective, or what souls do about same, taking little or no account of the words, the promises, ye the activities of him, he manifested in the earth, that as would bring to the seeker an awareness of the constructive influences of the same creation. He, meaning Son of Man. This may be indicated or seen in the record regarding the book, which is as a sign, a guide to those who seek to know his ways, his purposes to man. These interpretations of the promises, the pledges taken and given in the lives and activities, or during the phases of the journey of an individual soul, must be taken into account. And then these indicate as to what is to come to pass. Even though these periods of the Earth's journey through space, catching up in quotations, pardon me, as it were in time. I'll read that again, folks. And then these indicate as to what is to come to pass, even through these periods of the Earth's journey through space, catching up, as it were, with time. Remember, it's talking about the sun's journey, the Earth's journey, the individual journey, the collective journey, same. And then the souls realize, in his search for his maker, the patience that was, is, and will be manifested in him. He that is the way, the truth, the light. Again, the interpretation of the signs and the omens becomes an individual experience, and each soul, as this entity, then is given the privilege, the opportunity to live such an activity in its relationships to its fellow man, filling, fulfilling, and interpreting that which has been indicated in such measures, such manners, as to bring hope and not fear, peace and not hate, that which is constructive and not destructive, to the lives and the minds and the hearts of others. He will rest for the period. So, what they're saying in lots of ways is it's always been the same. It's always been the same. It's up to us. It's up to us. Where are we at in that moving up through selfishness? Up through selfishness. And beloveds that have been here for a while, I teach the levels of consciousness chart. All of it is about self, and all of it's about self. All of it's about self until you hit the one, the oneness. What do you think that chart's all about? It's about you. It's about the self. And so when we read things like this, think of, and I said it when I recorded with John for the Matrix Living episode. And Rumi, beautiful, beautiful. You know, he would say, "You're not just a drop of water, right? You're not just a drop of water." It it pains me when I hear people think that they're just a drop of water. Like, you're just a drop of water in the ocean, right? Rumi would say, "You're a drop of water in the ocean." Or you're not just a drop of water in the ocean, you're the entire ocean. But the problem is, folks, is we have to dissolve that drop first. We move up through selfishness. We ascend through selfishness, the destruction of man, the I, so much of the I, and not the I in association with the totality of things, but the I, right? That's what so much of that conversation I had with John was about. So much of it. And we're going to jump to page 82 real quick. So much. Was it 82? Yes. Okay. We're going to read a little bit of 82. There's a lot said here, folks. Please just, and if you need to go back and listen to it again, I know I stumbled a bit. Sorry, it's been a long day. Pay attention to when, I mean, they said the word same. I should go back and count it. I don't know how many times. It is all the same. So if you want this new earth that they talk about, this grand new earth, right, that they talk about, which actually, did we read that section? Let me make sure if we read that section or not. About what is this new earth that they love talking about, right? Um, if you want that, it has nothing to do with anyone other than you. Let's read this for a moment. This is their question. And we jumped to 86, by the way. This is their question. In reference to Revelations 21:1, what is the meaning of the new heaven and new earth? For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. That's in Revelations, by the way. This is their answer, the Akashic. When the foundations of the earth are broken up by those very disturbances, can the mind of man comprehend no desire to sin, no purpose, but that the glory of the Son may be manifested in his life? Is this not a new heaven, a new earth? For the former things would have passed away. For as the desires, the purposes, the aims are to bring about the whole change physically, so does it create in the experience of each soul a new version, a new comprehension. For as has been given to hate, sorry, wow. For as has been given to hath not entered the heart of man to know the glories that have been prepared, that are part of the experiences of those that love only the Lord and his ways. So they did talk about the Lord many times. And I have the material about what they actually, who and what they explain as in who is Christ, the Christ consciousness. I do have that. So think about that. This new heaven, it's all about comprehension. It's all about when something happens, how do you react? What do you do? We're moving on to 82. The entity was not so well considered by some of its own peoples. So this is another reading from April 24th, 1944, about someone. The entity was not so well considered by some of its own peoples, but rather as one who was, it might be said, persuaded because of fascination or certain tenets. And the interest then in the reports from the Atlanteans had much to do with the entity in its choice of activities through the experience. Thus, the warning respecting the interest in occult and the application of the psychic, these these quite in variation. And this is the part that I really wanted people to hear. As to the abilities of the entity, that to which it may attain, and how. First, this is for all of us. All of us, we're all the same. First, as indicated, analyze and study self. Do find thy ideal, physically, mentally, spiritually. Then study to show thyself approved upon that ideal, condemning none, and most of all, don't condemn self. So analyze yourself, study yourself, find that ideal, find it. Then work towards it, improve. Then study to show thyself approve upon that ideal, condemning none, no one else. You don't condemn anyone around you, and you don't condemn yourself. Everything in life is an opportunity to practice compassion. As to the physical activities, these should have to do with the insurance or assurance of the nature that is cooperative, dealing with farms, with stock, with such. These having to do with such undertakings should be the associates of the entity. So they're talking directly to that entity. In the study of the mystic, the occult, the psychic, let it be from the basis of the ideal and not from heresy, rather from thine own experience. And now they're saying, ready for some more questions. What can I do to help bring about the new age? Isn't that such a good question? That's such a good question. We should all ask that question. What can I do to help bring about the new age? Let's see what they say. As just indicated, you will have to practice it in your own life. These are the manners and channels through which this might be better expressed by this particular entity. So that is the answer for all, though. As just indicated, you will have to practice it in your own life. How do you practice it? You analyze and study self. Find thy ideal physically, mentally, spiritually. Then study and show thyself approved upon that ideal, condemning none, and most of all, don't condemn self. Question. What is the reason for the terrific struggle between the spiritual and the physical, wherein so often the physical appetites win and leave me with such a sense of loss and frustration? How many of you feel that way? That there's such a struggle between the physical and the spiritual within. That then whatever your desires, this is why desire is so low, so low on the levels of consciousness. It's based out of fear of lack, right? Any kind of fears. But that desire, that physical, right? Whatever it is that you crave, do you find that that is a fight within you? This is what they said. This comes from the periods of indecision, as we have indicated, and a lack of knowing the ideal in self. I can guarantee you guys that would be the answer for pretty much everybody. I mean, some of us would have some very detailed remarks as to why is that struggle between physical and spiritual so difficult? Why do I keep condemning myself and everyone else? Why do I crave these things that I know are bad for me? All of that. This comes from the periods of indecision and the lack of knowing the ideal in self. So, what do you think after we've read all this? And they kept saying, everything's the same. Everything's the same. It's the same then, same now, same always will be. It's the same, but it's how we live that's different. It's how we perceive. It's how we move about. It's how if we stop condemning others and ourself, if we stop seeing others as something other than self, if we are moving up this selfishness, right? Dissolving that drop of water so we can actually witness and experience the entire ocean. How do how do we experience the entire ocean if we're still referencing ourselves as a single drop? Well, then our scope is very limited as to what this earth and where we are and what's going on is. We have to accept that it is all the same. It's this concept of positive and negative from, hmm, some kind of powerful force that created that into this environment, this sphere. And how do we do that? It goes back to analyze and study yourself. What is your ideal? And then study and show up for yourself in that ideal. And all the while, stop condemning others and yourself. Drop that judgment. Drop that judgment. It does not serve. It serves no one. And then we might be seeing things different. We might be experiencing this quote unquote new earth that they talked about. They literally just said it's all about comprehension. It's all about awareness. It's all about comprehending. It's all about He, the Christ consciousness, came to teach us how to do this here in a body of form. So, beloveds, we're going to explore more of this. And I'm actually thinking about, I don't know why I say this because it'll probably take me forever to get to it. But if you stick through, if you subscribe right now, um, I am thinking about taking parts of this material, the Earth Changes book, and then also correspondingly reading with the Nag Hammadi scriptures as to why the Akashic is saying Christ said this and Christ did this, da da da. What are they actually referring to? Because oftentimes it's not necessarily how the Bible is at least taught, definitely written in many areas, and that happens. It does happen. I mean, I just had a conversation, I'll end with this. You know, when we study these stories and when we get all this information, it is to bring it into self, to help us analyze and learn and get to that ideal. I mean, how many of us can raise our hand and say, I know what my ideal is? That's okay. I don't condemn you. Don't condemn yourself. That's okay if we don't know. That's okay. But we have this opportunity called life that is full of the experiences that we can live through to witness, whoa, is that a part of my ideal or is it not a part of my ideal? It's a beautiful thing that we have. So when we read these stories and we get these readings, we get this information, bring it into self. And you can do that in so many ways. But what I do want to bring up real quick is that oftentimes, including here, right? Including what you're hearing and witnessing here, take what is said and mull it over. Turn it over in your head. Bring it to your heart space. Breathe into it. What is for you? What is not for you? Right? If it's not for you, I reject that. That is not of me. If it is for you, I'm going to breathe that in. Right? Do that with all things, all experiences, all conversations, all stories, all of it. We're so very programmed to just take a story as it has always been fed to us. And that is, I can guarantee you, folks, a lot of things have been left out that way. We often take messages that maybe part of it can resonate, but not all of it. And I'm saying I think a lot of people are able to do this now, but I don't think it's a full taking in. That's why I'm emphasizing this, I guess. It's probably not a full taking in because we're so oversaturated. We're so overwhelmed with so much. I mean, constantly, right? Constant stuff that maybe ask yourself, so moving forward, if we're working towards identifying this ideal in a time period where we're overwhelmed with everything on the screen, but also everything just in our daily life, right? We're just overwhelmed. We're overwhelmed with the economy. We're overwhelmed with whatever's happening politically. We're overwhelmed with this. We're overwhelmed with school and kids and life and paying the bills, putting food on the table. We're overwhelmed. So maybe we're not taking things in and really thinking about them to the best of our ability to get to that ideal after analyzing and studying self in relation to, right? Right? What do I believe this? Do I not believe this? Do I feel this? Do I not feel this? Do I need to reject that? That is not of me, which I say all the time, folks. I reject that. That is not of me. Um, Maybe we're not taking enough things in little doses and piecemeal to really find out. We just quickly go, "Yeah, I dig that. I'm good with that. I love that. I resonate." And then we move on instead of really asking why. Why do I resonate with that? What in me resonates with that? Or if it's something that we don't want, what in me invites us to be? Like, ooh, what in me still needs the healing? What in me actually likes the chaos? What in me is afraid of achieving something, whatever it may be? So take the time. Take the time. You're fine. Uh, you got the time. We covered time a few weeks ago. You have the time. And what an opportunity, this precious, wonderful life that we have, full of opportunities to experience and experience and experience and experience. Ooh, I love it. Experience. And all of those are there for us to go, oh, I think this is a part of my ideal. Hmm, I don't know about that one. I think that's somebody else's ideal. That's what this is all about. So take that time and with it, emerge. Emerge. Have fun. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. I mean, most of us are having fun swimming around the ocean as a drop. Imagine how much fun you could have if you were acknowledging you are the entire ocean. Dissolve. Dissolve. All right. Love you guys. Cheers. Have a great week. Remember, it's all the same. Everything's the same. Past, present, and future. It's all the same. What has always been. What has always been. It never went away. That's all the glorious things. That's all the beautiful, wonderful, great things. That's the you are superhuman. You are magical. You are star power. You are everything. It has always been. It will always be. It never went away. Just your perception of things. That's it. All right. Love you guys. Cheers. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Shelly, for coming in. Everybody who was here listening, leave a comment below. Have a great long weekend if you're here in the States. Hug your loved ones and hug yourself. No condemning, folks. Drop the judgment. Cheers. Bye.